John? Here. Sarah?
Here.
And Mike's excused. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I need a motion for the consent agenda.
We need to move 6F to 5A, move 5F to 5C, and then we're going to table 5H to the 24th.
5A will go 5B.
Yes.
Motion with those amendments.
Second.
Motion is motion. Do I have a second?
I thought hers was
Oh, hers was first? Okay, sorry. All in favor then?
Aye.
All right, public input, this is time and place for discussion items not on the agenda with a time limit of 3 minutes each. Anybody? You I just want to say, want to thank Mike too, but welcome Rick, welcome Mike. It's going to be been 2 years with me and then 4 years together, so hopefully we'll all get along, get stuff done. So put that out there. Have fun. If you got any questions, always ask. That's the easiest thing. Moving on. Resolution 03, 2022, approving hiring part-time custodian for City Hall.
So in December, I brought you the applicant for a temporary part-time position for Doug Grayhouse, who's here tonight. We did it temporarily so that way we could post the job. So we ran the posting. We had one applicant, and I'd like to move forward with hiring Doug tonight as a permanent part-time employee. Just so you're aware, Doug works over at the school as a custodian at the school. He's also was the one that helped do the floor here at City Hall, and I think he did an outstanding job, and so far I could not be happier with the work that he's done thus far.
How many hours?
We're kind of just doing it based on the need. It's about 3 to 5 hours right now is what we're looking for, no more than 5.
Okay.
And he'll just adjust that based on what we have going on. And he's also going to, it was supposed to be done, I think I mentioned this last time, the fire department was supposed to be done once a month. And so he's also going to be doing that now too. So they budgeted for that, to have that done, and it's just not.
Did you know you were going to do the fire department too?
Yep.
I make a motion to go ahead and approve.
Second. The motion is second. Sarah?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Rick?
Aye.
Nate?
Aye.
All right. All right, Doug, we're done with you.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right, then we're going to, where are we going next, Sarah? Joe Jennison. check
Yeah, Joe
presentation.
Jennison, presentation.
Presentation for
Yep.
Jennison.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Jennison. I'm the Director of Main Street Marketing for the Mount Vernon-Lisbon Community Development Group. With me is Deb Herman, one of my volunteers, and she's also a bookkeeper for our organization. So, as you're all probably aware, Channel contacted us last summer and wanted some names of people who helped us get through the derecho mess the summer before. And they did some interviews and they created a movie that was broadcast or shown at the Wellness Center. And then they contacted me again after that and said I'd like to give $20,000, $10,000 out of the city of Lisbon and $10,000 to the city of Mount Vernon. And would you be willing to take care of that for us? Yeah. So they sent me a check, and the good news is today we have got a check for $10,000 to be used for planting of trees in Lisbon. So we're very happy to do this. I'd like them to take a picture with Doug this evening. Or maybe we should both be in it and say you take it for us.
Okay.
Or do you want them to be up
Let's do it here, right?
in front of the Lisbon, Iowa? Oh, nice. Doing 1, 2, 3. Excellent, I'm gonna take another one. I think I took it. Maybe I'm taking a video, who knows?
Nathan's got backup.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
Thank you, guys.
It's a nice color on you, Doug. All right.
Thank you for presenting
Is it
that
slowing?
tonight. And thanks to Channel C.
Yes. Well, giving away money is the best thing to do in the whole
All right, we're
world.
gonna, we'll take it.
Thank you, Deb. I might as well stay up here, Joe, you're first.
Yep, okay.
All right, the budget presentation. Who are you?
So he's on the economic development. This is real easy. Contractual services, so this is our allocation that we give yearly to the CDG, which is $6,000. And then we've also included the Lisbon for 5. I know this year we didn't have any applicants that qualified for Lisbon. However, I think just with the times and the price of materials and whatnot, I think it's kind of scared some people off. So I'd like to see that continue. So the amount requested would be the same at $11,000. I met with Joe, and he's good with that.
Yep. The 6,000 comes to CDG, that's an annual gift. And then through CDG, I guess we work with the city for the Lisbon. So that money doesn't actually come to us, we just help to put that project together.
Anybody got any questions for Joe? All right, Joe.
I did not, thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
We'll see you again. And welcome, Rick. Last time I saw you, we were committing a murder. Over at Southeast. That was a few years ago.
All right.
Yeah, well,
All right. Next up is library.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for your continued service. Welcome, Rick. You're no stranger to public service here in Lisbon. I'm still the librarian, and I supplied you with sort of a very abbreviated annual report of our, it's numbers for those of you who like numbers. If you want stories, I can provide those too. But it gives you an idea of what we were doing the past year. It was really an unusual year, but things are starting to pick up down at the library in terms of usage, but we have done a lot of outreach through downloadables and virtual programming, and we are open for business down there, and our circulation is starting to go back a little bit toward what it was. But if you have any questions about that, you can ask me. But also here with me are our board president, Rich Eskelson, is in person, and our treasurer, Daryl Aaron, is up in the left-hand corner of the screen there. So they would be very happy to answer your questions about the budget.
So do we have, you guys got anything planned for any repairs or major expenses on the library itself?
Well, we're getting a lot done this past year. We had the west wall was worked on, and there may be some more things in the preservation plan for our building. So we are in contact with Brandon and the people working on it.
So if you go down on repair, maintenance, and utilities, the second line item, that's the west, we call it the west wall fund last year because that's what it was. But you'll see this current year, the request was for $31,500. Next year, we're going to earmark $20,000. Obviously not knowing what we're going to do, I just wanted to make sure that money was in there for continued progress on the preservation plan. Historic preservation is meeting next week, and they're going to meet with the Friends of the Library as well as the History Center just to figure out what we need to do, but I wanted to make sure that money was in there, so that way, once we figure out what we need, it'll be there for either matching for grants or to do some of the work.
Okay, so you got it earmarked to 20,000. Right now, their budget is 31.5 for that.
Yep.
They spent close to, let's say 16.
Correct.
So would we carry over if they don't spend that?
Well, you can't. So it all goes
Now
back
that
to the
fund
general
goes back
fund,
to general.
and then it comes back out. So the thought is, I know that we did the caps across the top. When BSM came out, they
Across the
didn't do,
front.
yes, they had not done the west wall during inspection. So when they did the west wall, while they were there, we had them for, it was like $1,600. It was $800 for the, $800 for Southeast Linn, and then $800 for the front of the library to do the whole thing. So it was all done. So that will come out of here. But we were well, I knew we were gonna be well within the 31.5 to get that done. So that will be done, and then basically we'll be kind of moving to that step 2, or phase 2 of the preservation, which Historic Preservation has just sent out the quotes for that, and they've gotten one back. So that'll be coming in the months ahead.
Anybody got any questions? All right,
Thank you.
this is easy. All right. Southeast Linn.
So I sent Brandon some highlights from our year. A few of our big numbers, people are still really relying on us, especially for the food pantry, for the senior meals, senior transportation, continue to be our biggest program. We've also given out quite a bit in crisis assistance funds, so helping people with energy bills, water bills, one-time expenses. We have had to, pivot a lot like everyone else, just trying to be responsive to whatever needs come up in the community. So early on last year, when seniors were trying to get appointments to get the vaccine, but you had to schedule a line and all that, we were able to help over 600 area seniors get appointments and get to clinics to get that done. So they were very appreciative to have somebody local that they could call and get help with that. Some of our programs we've been able to pick back up this year. We did the Safe Kids, worked with Safe Kids Linn County to do a health and safety fair in August along with Sauerkraut Days, which went very well again. And then we celebrated our 35th anniversary in September. So no major changes for this upcoming year, just trying to keep adapting to whatever needs pop up and keep providing those services. I think our biggest, most impressive number is in the last fiscal year, we gave out 64,462 pounds of food through the weekly food pantry. So big impact on our community.
You guys are doing a great job. So like when those cars are unloading all those groceries and stuff, are those all donated?
So, yeah, when we
That's quite a bit of it,
Yeah, every week we pick up food from the Haycap Food Reservoir. So through them, we can get either free or low-cost food. And then we also, Denny at Gary's will order anything that we need at his cost and provide it to us at his cost. So that's what you're seeing most of the time is unloading stuff from Gary's or from Haycap. So we do get donations as well, but a lot of the donations come in financially and then we make those purchases.
Are you guys in need of, like, how is the food pantry sitting right now? Are you guys in need of?
Yeah, so it is.
Is there anything that you guys, like, right now, this would be a great time to say, hey, we're looking for this, because we record these, so
Perfect,
people in our community do watch it, so absolutely shout out what you guys are needing,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, we can always use like household items, toilet paper, shampoo, those kinds of things are a little harder for us to find in bulk, and so getting those donated is great. We've also added on our food pantry page on our website a list of top needed items, so people can always go to our website and check that list and see what we are most in need of at the time. Yeah, so I also provided our budget from the last couple of years, and you can see in the year of 2020, so that hits 2 of our fiscal years, but we had a huge increase in donations financially from the community, which was just incredible. Like, people really stepped up seeing the need in the pandemic. And then we also had some, PPE and some grant opportunities that were available kind of one time to help nonprofits get through the pandemic. So some of those have kind of tapered off. So we have a more conservative budget for this next year, but we really rely we appreciate you guys for that reliable funding that we know is coming year to year.
Well, we're just hoping for a calm summer then.
That would be lovely. And that, you know, we're all seeing the increase in cost of the grocery store. That kind of hits us doubly because it increases the need for our families, and then we also have that extra cost when we're buying food. So that food pantry is always our biggest need and our biggest program.
What about the after-school program for next school year?
Yeah, I mean, please, I hope, you know. It didn't work out this year. We've been in contact with people, with our contacts at the school and stuff, and they don't have a lot of kids that are looking for it right now, but I really hope that, you know, this summer and next year we'll be able to see what the need is and help work with them to meet that.
Is that in your budget?
That is actually in the lost. We used some of the lost money to cover that, so that'll be on the next one.
Anybody else got any questions?
Congratulations on the 35 years.
Yeah,
Move on to 36, so good luck.
all right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
History Center.
I talked with Brandon last week, not much is changing. We're asking for the allocated money that you guys give us each year. We can mainly use that to help cover bills, you know, gas, electric. And we're already seeing the increases, you know, in gas and minutes, so up and down. He also talked to me about building maintenance, that he wanted to increase that to $25,000 to help work with historical preservation and getting the outside of the building fixed and up to code and everything. And then there's also another one that, the miscellaneous, that covers the property tax. And he also suggested increasing that to help you guys budget for the increase of property tax.
Any questions for Eric?
This would be the same thing with the historic preservation, just earmarking that money, $25,000. If you recall, in phase 2 of both plans, the History Center was a pretty substantial amount of money. More repairs there than over at the library. So we took down the library by 10 and added 5 to this. We budgeted 20 this year. Keep in mind, we will use that 16. They did receive a grant.
We have, not including phase 1, total grants that we've received is $21,400. And we got $1,400 for phase 1, which was repairing the chimney and the front entryway. And then the other 19 is for phase 2.
So hopefully we get the west wall, the paint, lead paint, and the rest of that work done there with this money plus the grant.
Awesome.
And then on this single page.
The city port.
City portion, that maintenance and repair is just ongoing, normal, day-to-day maintenance of the building. As you can see, last year, they replaced the side door over here, so I kept that the same. Insurance was pretty close to the same. You can see it kind of bounces around there, so I just put it in the middle at $1,700, so our portion for that would be $34.
Any questions?
Nope, thank you, Eric.
Cemetery.
This is pretty status quo. The only thing where I bumped up to make the difference down below was ground maintenance and repair, and that's just part of the mowing contract. As you can see, we're at $20,000 already that's spent that goes with fertilizer, and that's all included in there. So I just felt the need, we needed to bump that up because I think we're going to be over this year in that line item. But everything else is pretty much the same as you go down. I did lower the minor equipment as well. I think some of that comes out with the payment of the tractor, lawn tractor. So they kind of split all that out amongst different departments. So we'll need to check to see what needs paid for that line item. But everything else is pretty much the same. Like I said, the 4,000 increase is mainly the grounds repair.
Didn't we have a locked-in price for that, for like 3 years, for ground maintenance? With like whoever the hell's doing it, Jordan's or?
Yeah, but I'm thinking I don't know if fertilizer included in that, I can look into that.
Okay.
Something that I know we had talked about in our sessions that we had for planning was a program that people could get online and look at plots. Do you guys remember discussing that?
The software.
The software.
Yeah.
Is there any way we could get like maybe a quote for that, Christina?
Yeah.
That maybe we could add, like, just to kind of see what it would cost? Because I know there's a lot of people that would just be able to like go online and look to see what is available and be able to just instead of walking around, I mean, because doesn't Travis do that?
Well, the problem is they're using a book that
Is ancient.
quite a bit older than me, I think, so.
Right, well, sorry, I didn't mean to call you ancient or anything, but, I mean, it would
I
just,
remember the book and I'm ancient.
It's still there, and
well, I didn't say you were ancient.
I think we could save a lot of time by doing so. However, there's a lot of work
I
that
know
goes
there's a
into
lot of-
that, and it's a pretty big undertaking.
It was
I
a
know
pretty
that,
steep tag last time I saw
yeah.
it. so
I'm sure it is,
we met
but
with,
it might-
a company out of, I want to say Marshalltown or somewhere over that way. But we can certainly, there was a company that stopped by here a couple weeks ago, just dropped off some literature. They do cemeteries, fire hydrants, water mains, sewer lines, so it might be
Like
something.
a locating service.
Yeah,
of those
that
out
they would have their, their computer platform would have all that information. Not just the cemetery.
there. Oh, this would be an all-encompassing.
It all-encompassing.
Software.
Yeah.
All of that.
So,
I just, it's just something to think of, like, if we could just get a quote, I know we have, some time before the budget is actually due, but just to kind of get an idea of what it might be. I know that's kind of late in the game, but I know we talked about it last year, but I know that that would take away from our city staff having to stop what they're doing to go out and follow a book that's ancient, just kind of streamline some things, but if we can get one that's all
Yeah,
encompassing.
Christine will get that tomorrow.
Yeah, the all-inclusive sounds intriguing.
Yeah,
Might
it
lower the
does.
cost of just the cemetery portion.
All right,
I agree with you, Sarah, that'd be a lot easier. Those big pine trees,
yes.
On the southeast corner.
northeast corner.
Oh, no, you're
Mark
talking
Smith's got our
the
reminder.
old part, by the, yeah,
Yes.
it's very old.
Up there by Bruce Allen's old house.
That big, yeah, those need to come down. Now that you've mentioned that, I don't know if that was, it's not noted on here, but I don't know if some of that money, that 30,000 was part of that. I know that it was pretty substantial, I want to say it was like 6 or 10,000 a tree.
Well, because I
Oh,
know,
I'm sure it is.
I know
To
Travis,
safely take them down.
yeah,
Yeah.
when Travis talked about it, when Si's gonna come in and take these trees down, he'd have to hire a crane to get
Yeah.
those.
I do remember that conversation, and it was a crane involved.
I mean, if we keep waiting, sooner or later they'll be down anyway. They fall apart every time the wind blows.
Damage a lot of things, and, yeah.
Look into that.
I can look into that too,
Yeah,
and then prioritize what we want to do from there.
Anything else, Rick?
On the cemetery, have you guys ever used Find a Grave?
Is that the site you're talking about?
Yeah, we use it a
It's
lot.
just like you punch it in your computer or your phone.
Yeah, you punch your name in and it punch Lisbon, Iowa, cemetery.
And it's already got some of our,
Yeah. Yeah, it's in Find a Grave. You can go to any cemetery.
does it have the plot names, like, is it like plotted out, like,
Yeah, it'll tell you where it's at.
Some of them.
some of them do, not
sounds like we
all?
already have it then. If
Kind
that's-
of, it's a
50-50,
service, yeah,
a
it's,
shot.
there's certain people that just like to kind of volunteer and go through and, or they'll add their family members to the
Oh,
site.
gotcha.
Ah, okay. Like an
It's not,
ancestry.
yeah,
thing.
yes.
Okay,
So,
so it's like a Wikipedia, you have your own
Right.
information?
Yes.
so could we get on that site and add people to it? Or
Yes.
do we have to be a family member?
I believe you can add people to it.
You guys use that a lot over there, Rick? McKinneyville?
They
they got it.
The school
She
kids
got
do that
it.
as a project?
Well, so what they do is they just send me out there to mark the graves.
And that's what we're doing, probably same book. Right?
And they got a book of everybody, up-to-date book, so.
Okay. It might be something if you can use that site to, you know, I know that Marcia likes to go out there and she's taken upon herself that she takes pretty good care of that stuff and takes pride in it. It might be something too that we can transfer our, you know, our known information into there. And it may help. Now, I don't know how
Site
that's,
supported by advertising.
can you see plots that are bought that aren't there? Like
No.
people that, no, okay.
This is more looking for somebody.
Looking for
So
something.
like,
Yeah.
let's
Oh,
just say,
gotcha.
just say hypothetically, Marcia could walk through there and get on this site and just put, okay, this is Carl O'Connor's grave, and it hits okay or whatever, and it GPSes it, is that what it does?
It'll give you like the row number, aisle, row, section.
Of where it's at.
Yeah.
What's this thing called?
Findinggraves.com.
And then we'd still need
Empty,
we would need to figure out a way to get an empty,
because that's the biggest thing. Like,
yeah.
that's.
Because, you know, like, you know, there's times where people come in and say, hey, I have, you know, this person needs to be buried between this person and this person. Well, you get out there and there's 2 spots, you know, but the book only says there's 1.
Right.
So it's stuff like that where, and it's through the course of multiple people updating this book, and it'd be real easy to get
So
off
you
track.
mark your own graves,
What's that?
you mark your own,
Yeah.
so you pin, you got
They got
pins.
pins, they go down.
Pins are 20 feet. Or 8 feet per 2 people.
What, they're probably out there once a week, you know?
Yeah.
And there's, you know, there's always people coming in and asking, you know, for, especially right now, it seems to be a hot topic, so. But,
Look into the couple options if you can.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Christina.
Anybody got any questions? About
What do you
something?
I do not have any questions for the cemetery.
oh, also, I should, the veterans is a part of that, I believe also, that's just a 1-page, $500, for the Memorial Center.
Community beautification.
So as you can see, we put some significant money in the budget for tree maintenance. Some of this was for the ash trees. I will say that the ratio helped a little bit with that. But we're looking here this spring to start getting the ones down that need to come down. We've taken several down. Obviously, you know, we're working on stumps too. So I just put 25,000. I don't know if we need to up that. I just kind of ballpark that, but I think between the two, if you see that, I mean, that's pushing 100,000 to get trees taken down, and that's kind of where I was ballparking, so.
When does Travis come back?
Monday.
There was a Second Avenue project that was gonna take a lot of this budget up.
You might want to, as I say, you might want to talk to Travis, see how many, because I know Si's gonna come in and do them all at one time, I think.
Correct. And we can get them for a price per day, is what
And,
the deal is.
just gonna see, because it's, you know, like, right now, we only spent $7,000 worth of that budget for the 75. I mean, I'm sure.
I think he was here 2 days
Yeah.
when he came.
Well, I think didn't we budget 75 though to take down the ones on Second Avenue when we were gonna do that water project? And those didn't come down. Second Avenue, Yellow House, the metal fence.
Oh, on Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson
Between
and
Between
Second.
first
to
and
the
second.
east.
Yeah, that was a large chunk of it, but then he came back with, if we can get him here per day, it didn't seem to matter, but now, if you get a crane involved with that one too, that might be pretty
I
pricey.
think that's why that was so high, and maybe it was intended for this spring or something.
Right.
I think it'd be cheaper if we just pull the fence out and replace, I mean, put the fence back in and put a crate in there, but, yeah. Just talk to Travis, see what, I mean, what he thinks is gonna happen this year. You know, 75's gonna cover what we're gonna do this year.
I like their plan of removing the fence though, that is agreeable to the homeowner.
Just remove it and back in.
The homeowner, that's the yellow house
Stutzlaker's mansion.
across from Lycopis. Is it across
No, it'd be south, the full block.
the full block? I know the owners of the house, they're very,
Um,
very nice people.
It'd be between Jackson and Washington and
Yep.
First and Second.
Yep. I do know the owners of, they just
I think
moved in not
Is
too
there
long.
7, 8, I wanna say, 6 or 7 in a row there,
Yeah.
something like that, they're big.
And they're,
Yeah.
And anybody else got anything for community beautification? Alright. Parks and Rec.
Alrighty. Mine's a little bit longer than everybody else's, so bear with me. If you have any questions while I go through this, don't hesitate to stop me. You should have parks and recreation, and everybody have those too.
Yep. They're
I'm
just
gonna
stapled
start with
together.
parks. So for regular full-time salary and wages, we upped that from 40,470 to 45,000. That's for annual raise, and don't forget that a couple employee salaries come out of that for parks. And then we also budgeted 2,000 for summer help, kind of like what we've had in the past. High school kids from Lisbon coming in, helping with mowing, weed eating, things like that. Employee benefits stayed the same, staff development stayed the same. We'll go to repair, maintenance, utilities. So for building maintenance and repair, you'll notice it was budgeted, or current budget 66,000. That's for the restoring the barns over at Myers. So we dropped that down significantly to $2,000. And Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but that could go up as we get a plan from.
Yep, so historic preservation is working very hard to try to find someone that writes preservation plans for the barns. The last I talked to Ann was earlier this week. They did get directed towards somebody. I have not heard if this person does that or not. She's hoping to find out. That's part of the reason why theirs was tabled tonight, because they don't have that fee if they can find someone to write that plan. So once they have that, we can then adjust this on the building maintenance and repair if that's something we want to tackle this year.
we'll just make an amendment.
Well, this is just the initial.
Okay.
No, we're not. We'll just see how everything aligns, and then we'll just, hopefully by the time, before we go to approve this budget, we'll know that price amount, and then we'll see what monies we have available to put towards that.
Okay.
And that plan is required to have a grant.
Yeah, so in order for them to write a grant, they have to have this plan. Well, they can't find anybody to write the plan, so it's kind of a, right now it's a little bit of a catch-22, but they're working hard to find somebody, and I'm pretty confident that they will. So just, I put an asterisk by that on mine, knowing that we'll probably need to add money to that during the next step of this process.
I will continue on with repair, maintenance, utilities. So you'll notice vehicle operations, vehicle repair, operational equipment repair, those were all, went up a little bit. So vehicle repair, like fuel expenses, fuel's gone up. We went to 1,500 instead of 1,000. Vehicle repair went to 2,500. We have the new tractor, the new work vehicle. And then also operational equipment repair. You'll notice it, current budget, $321,000. That is for the lights at the parks. So softball and baseball lights. So that dropped significantly again to 2,500. New equipment, fuel costs, things like that.
Now, the lights at the park was mostly paid for with insurance.
Correct.
That was all paid for insurance, but it was a significant drop, so there, yeah. So we're back now in line with kind of where we've been.
Okay.
This year was 321,000, so obviously you won't need that again. Okay.
Electric, gas expense, we budgeted 7,500. We went up $500 on that. We're about halfway through the year, and we have spent 4,700 year to date. So we went up $500 on that. As far as contractual services, everything stays the same except for programs. We did a back-to-school night before school last year. We'll probably plan to do that again, so we budgeted $300 there. And then I just want you guys to know that the $2,000 for other contractual services, that is the porta potties that we get every year for T-ball, our summer sports, baseball, softball. So that's what that is.
You don't expect an insurance increase? Insurance expense increase? No, just
Sorry.
quote currently?
No, the last one went down a little bit. Christine, do you remember what, it was down like 0.5% or,
Sounds right.
so
He
I
should be
just,
good with that.
Okay. Good.
Commodities, minor equipment, current budget, you'll see $10,500, that's the tractor, so that's why that was so high, we spent $9,700. So that went down significantly to $1,000. I'm looking to get a spreader that can spread salt for sidewalks, and then it can also spread grass seed, so we budgeted $1,000 for that, under minor equipment. For grant expenditures, that's gonna stay the same. Pool supplies, we budgeted $5,000, or looking to budget $5,000. We budgeted $7,500 last year, if you guys remember, the pool hadn't been open for 2 years, or a year and a half, so we thought there was gonna be some more expense there, so we dropped that back down to $5,000. And then other supplies to $2,200, it was at $2,100, this is just miscellaneous supplies, and you'll see in the notes, fish for the pond at the nature park. With the water levels the way they are, we haven't stocked it yet. So as soon as we get those water levels back up, hopefully in the spring, summer, we'll get that stocked up. So that is that.
I was gonna say, back to commodities, did we fully pay for the tractor? It was around 30K, wasn't it, originally?
yeah, but it was split out amongst several different departments.
Okay.
So streets got some.
I didn't know if we needed to carry the 10 for 3 periods or
No,
something like
no,
that.
it's all been paid for. The last bill you're gonna see come through is potentially the broom. That was one of the last things we put on it, but I think that was $2,300 or something like that. So,
Okay.
yeah, everything for the tractor's been paid for.
Okay.
As for stocking the pond, maybe you, I don't know if you've reached out to the DNR about that since it's a public pond.
We had them come out and actually shock it and do a survey for us and gave us all the kinds of fish we need and everything.
Yeah, there's no stocking, they were saying.
Yeah, we've got that all figured out.
Cool, thanks.
Awesome.
And
Also, if
maybe,
you notice they put the rock around there, so just know that it makes it look like the water's lower than it really is, but they added 3 feet of rock, so the point of that is so that they can take the mower and you're on even ground when you do that. And then we have some eco-friendly weed killer, if you will, that works for ponds and that to take care of that so it stays looking nice and the kids don't have to worry about getting snags and that type of stuff.
We don't dye the pond, do we?
we do not. I have been talking with Rod Kelly about that over at the school though, and he's mentioned that, so I'm gonna look into that a little bit. Just see, sounds like it might help with algae too and stuff.
Yeah,
when you do that, so.
it does, it knocks
Yeah.
out.
So I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, the pond looks like it's down. It is down, but it's not down as what it looks like when you're driving past on the road, so. Miscellaneous stays the same. And for capital outlay, playground equipment, we budgeted, 1,000 is the current budget. We went to 2,000. We still have to put the merry-go-round over at Novak. And then we budgeted a little for, possible sports complex, playground equipment. Does anybody have any questions on parks before I move into recreation?
No.
Brandon, do you have anything to add before I move on?
I don't think so.
I just got a question here.
Yep.
This training, you budget $450, is that training, will that take you
Yep, so
to
that,
get you the pool certification?
yep, so I already have my pool certification, but that will be for turf management, coaching authorization, and I'm going to a coaching clinic on the 23rd in Mount Vernon. That's a free event, but, so that'll cover some of that training.
Does anybody else have any questions on parks at all? Good. Alrighty, for recreation, salaries and wages is going to stay the same. Staff development was already budgeted in parks, so that will stay the same as well. Repair, maintenance, and utilities, budgeted in parks. Telecommunications expense, we did up that from $1,500 to $2,000. Contractual services, everything there is going to stay the same. If you have any questions, it's insurance, payments to other agencies, Halloween Town programs, and then other contractual services. Those are all going to stay the same. A lot of this stuff's covered in parks already. Commodities, minor equipment, you'll notice the 9750, year to date 9,678. That's part of the tractor, so that answers your question, Nate. It's kind of balanced out between a bunch of different spots. We did put 3,500 there for a diamond drag for the back of the tractor. So that dropped $5,000 or so, but we did budget 3,500 for the diamond drag.
And that was a part of when we discussed the tractor.
Yep. That was in our plan initially.
He just is having trouble finding them, so.
I thought when we got this tractor, we ordered it with everything.
We did, but he can't find a diamond drag for it.
I mean, I thought we had like 3 different options, didn't we? Boom, this basic one.
Yeah, we were given 3 budgets, or 3 proposals, we bought the highest end with all the attachments, I don't recall.
But the diamond drag was not in there because the company that they go through, he couldn't get it.
Yeah.
So we're trying to
And I
Either
reached
waste
out to
meal or
them.
from other sources.
Yep, so that's budgeted for again. And then you'll see our sports that we offer: soccer, basketball, baseball, softball, t-ball, and then football. Soccer and basketball are going to stay the same, but with growing programs, I did up baseball, softball, t-ball, and football. So baseball, softball, t-ball from 1,000 to 1,500, and then with the same as football from 1,000 to 1,500. Growing programs, got some new stuff I need to get. For instance, baseball, softball, t-ball, our tees are getting pretty worn out. So just stuff like that. So that's why those are upped a little bit. Other than that, I think that is it for recreation. Anybody have any questions on recreation? At all?
Thank you.
Yep.
Hold on a second. Trying to get rid of some stuff. Only one. You can look at mine. Discussion of possible action on final payment of Cedar Falls Construction Company in the amount of $1,712 for business 30 patch repairs.
Dave couldn't make it tonight, so this is just the final 30-day retaining fee. We always give back at the end for the contract.
We've already
approved the completed project. This is just the 30-day.
This is the final 10%.
Final payment.
Yep.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion, possible action on final payment to Midwest Concrete in the amount of $1,822.81 for business 30 sidewalk improvements.
This is the exact same thing, except this is for the sidewalk project. Remember, if you split that out into 2 different awards, bid awards, so.
Yep.
Make motion. Second.
Motion or second, either way.
A motion and second. All in favor?
Yeah, I motion, Nate seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
So public hearing for proposed property tax levy for fiscal year '23.
So if you remember last year, I think it was the first time the state decided to make you do this max tax levy as a part of your budget. So every city has to do this. I put it in for the paper for January 13th, so I would request that we hold a public hearing on January 24th to pass the max tax levy.
Motion to set the public hearing for the 24th.
A motion to have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing for changes to Ordinance 28 History Center and History Center Foundation.
I would discuss this last time as well.
We need a motion to go into public hearing
I
now.
apologize.
Motion to go into public hearing.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Going in public hearing, now you can talk.
Sorry. This is for changes to Chapter 28, the History Center and History Center Foundation, the ordinance. This was presented by Eric, who's here, if you have any questions. Essentially, they're lowering the number to no fewer than 5 members instead of 7. They only have 6 currently, so technically by our ordinance and their bylaws, they can't even make a decision based on.
Do they have to dismiss somebody then to get to 5?
It's no fewer than 5.
No fewer than
No
5?
fewer than
We
five.
have up to 15. It was 7 to 15, but we'd like to back it down 5 to 15.
Okay.
So essentially, then they can conduct their business and go about it, so.
I didn't think you could have an even number.
Well, it's not.
5.
Yeah, I know, but
No.
if they have 6,
We have 6 current board members. We're required 5 for a quorum.
yep.
So it doesn't, you could have 12.
I think what he's saying
My point
is
is,
if you guys make a vote, if they make a vote,
It's kind
and
of
there's
similar
only
to
6
fire department.
people, it could be
You
3
can
and
have
3,
up
how do
to
you, how
a
do
certain
you?
number.
Yeah, we had an issue with Park and Rec
Yeah.
years ago.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah,
Anybody else got any questions about it?
No.
Motion to go out, public hearing.
a motion to go out.
All in favor?
Aye.
First reading of Chapter 28 History Center and History Center Foundation, possible suspension of rules, placing ordinance on third and final reading,
Motion to approve first reading?
which is moving it down to 5 members.
Yes, we'll do that from 7, minimum of 7 to 5.
A motion and a second. Nate?
Aye.
Rick? John?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
All right, and do I have a motion to suspension of the rules and placing in third and final reading?
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second.
Better
So,
roll call.
yeah. Sarah?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Rick? Aye. Nate?
Aye.
So we need a motion from the third reading now, right?
Motion to approve the third reading?
Second.
Motion and a second. Nate?
Aye.
Rick? Aye. John?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
You know that?
I did, believe it or not.
Resolution 01/2022, approving council appointments.
They were in our packet. Motion to approve?
A motion to approve, second.
Second.
Nate?
Aye.
Rick? Aye. John?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Resolution 02/2022, approving council liaison. Back also, any questions or comments?
I have no dispute with any of them. Motion to approve?
Motion approved, second.
Second.
John? Sarah?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Rick? Aye. Nate?
Aye.
Cool. Correspondence.
There's actually quite a bit. The end of the year library report I actually put in there, not the budget, so you got kind of off track there, so that's my fault. You'll see the police ambulance report. Police were just submitted today, so that's why it's a paper copy. And then also today we received in the mail, congratulations to Christina. She's earned her designation as an Iowa Certified Finance Officer, so.
Nice job, Christina.
Good work on that.
Congratulations.
And then we did receive one citizen letter, is that in there? I didn't want to put it into the packet because it goes kind of far and wide, but it was a reference to the maintenance crew for the good job they did plowing snow. It's just, thought it was nice to hear from a citizen on that, because a lot of times we don't always hear that stuff, so, that is all I have for correspondence.
Anything else? City engineers report.
They're finishing up the survey for the water project in the north end of town, so if you've seen their truck and survey equipment, they've been working on Market Street, last week, I think it was. And then I did ask Dave about overlay. If you recall, he was waiting to get the state bids that come out to see if see if there's a project close that maybe we can, let out for bid when they're in the area. So he's still, looking for that. He's expecting here in the next month or so to be able to find those. And then one thing that's kind of part of mine, part of his, I think we mentioned last meeting, there's a grant through Linn County for sewer and water projects. We just submitted a grant, Dave and I worked on, for $2.2 million to go towards that water project. As you recall, the grant through, when we did the income survey, they aren't opening that possibly till April or even July because of the request. If we end up getting this grant would actually be bigger than the grant we would get through there. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll know here in the next few weeks if we get that, but that would be a nice thing. So, and that's it for engineer.
Public Works.
I got that one too tonight since Travis is gone. They're finishing moving the snow piles downtown. They're gonna be removing sludge at the sewer plant the rest of the week and getting down the Christmas lights. Just been waiting for the weather to not be so cold to get that done. And then, sounds like there might be some more snow towards the end of the week, so they're getting everything, serviced and ready to go for that.
Parks and Rec.
Not a whole lot, just been doing a lot of snow, removing snow, sidewalks, helping out the maintenance guys with different things, and then, girls basketball wrapped up. I don't know if I told you guys that the last time I saw you, but boys basketball is getting ready to start. We had lower numbers this year for boys due to the fact that a league was started. A league that has been going, a lot of kids join, it's a more competitive league through the school. So a lot of kids join that. So we had 10 kids sign up this year for boys, and they were sent to Mount Vernon to play because we were not able to get a full team put together. So I'm working with some other people from the school, head basketball coach, to try to figure things out and see if we can make it so there is an opportunity for kids to do both rather than having to choose between one or the other. So, but all those kids are playing in Mount Vernon. I'll be helping officiate and helping Matt run some things over there throughout the season, and that started today, so.
Any questions for Drayden? Police Department report.
Wanted to let council know we started the junior high DARE program in the Elizabethan schools today. So that's kind of a new venture, and it's going well from that standpoint. Again, we've been working on kind of assisting public works in both cities with streets cleanup, making sure that snowed-in vehicles, abandoned vehicles have been sitting there for a long time, and getting those removed and stuff like that. So I think we pretty much got most of those handled. If there's some stragglers around, we're still cleaning up our list, but hopefully they'll get cleared out.
I haven't had a chance to read the article. I saw something in the Sun that you guys reminded residents to.
We blasted up, we did a huge, before this last snow event, we did a, pretty much covering a lot of the different ordinances that we deal with in snow removal or snow-related or weather-related ordinances, getting your vehicles off snow routes, clearing your sidewalks, not throwing your snow into other people's property, a lot of different things like that. Just some of the common complaints that we get.
Sure.
We are starting to get a few complaints on snowmobiles. going through people's yards and driving around and different things like that. So again, people need to be respectful and be aware of what the rules are from that standpoint.
All right, well, thanks for getting that out there.
You bet.
Anything else for Doug? Ambulance report, I've seen that in the packet. Fire chief.
Just finished submitting the Afg Grant. If you remember, we got the grant last year for the gear. I just submitted a grant last week for a new tanker, $230,000. So I submitted that. We'll see what we can get. No promises. It's tough to get a vehicle, but last year I think they handed out, I don't know, it was like 10 or 15, and so I thought we'd try that this year. So
I thought we had the tanker repaired or?
no, it's we bought the pumper, but the tanker is the one that's kind of tank's got a it's rusted from the inside out, and you know we're trying to limit.
The one we got repaired was the one we got bought from West Branch.
Okay.
The tankers still.
I thought we replaced it with a poly tank, but.
No, that was, I'm sorry, that was, we got the insurance claim on that. They did replace the poly tank in that.
Okay.
It cracked, it was leaking.
Yeah.
That was on the pumper.
That was on the pumper, not on the tank.
Correct. The tanker's the one that's been rusted from the inside out, and it's just a matter of time. It's an 89 tank and box, and then the chassis is a 99.
All right, I can play with the two trucks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep. There's something else, but we did do the appreciation dinner this last weekend. I just want to congratulate the members, reference years of service marks. All these people are still active on the fire department. Brett Epperly, 5 years. Nick Mackey, 5 years. Chris Caspers, 15 years. Jim Hendricks, Kevin Steele, and myself, 20 years. Al Swatosh, 25 years. And Rich Crow, 60 years. So, it takes everybody, and I thank each and every one of them. They started doing I don't know, it's probably been 8 to 10 years ago, handing out kind of every 5 years, they get a little something for their years of service. So, congrats to all of them. I think that is it for fire. City admin report. Just as a general reminder, and especially for Mike and Rick, February 7th is the scheduled meeting with the school at 6 o'clock. If you have agenda items, please make sure that you get them to me by the next meeting if you can. That way I can work with the school to get the agenda.
Is that here or?
I'm sorry, that is at the school.
Yeah,
6
their
o'clock.
turn.
I attended with John, I went down to Gwen's to the Lisbon Auburn Leadership Breakfast, Doug went as well. That was my first one. It was a good way to meet different organizations and people, leaders within the community, so that was a nice event to attend. Just as a general reminder, I understand that, our ordinance says you can't put your snow in the street. I get that. It's kind of like the grass, you can't mow up to the edge of the curb without getting your grass in the street, but then you're supposed to go and push blow your grass back up into your property. Same would go with the snow removal. If you're gonna remove the snow and the only way to go is to the street, don't leave it there, don't leave windrows, please move it to the curb. Don't rely on the snow plow to come by and do it. It just makes a mess, and this last one, we had some cars getting stuck and people had a hard time getting around. So just please make sure that if you're gonna push it to the street, you remove it then back to the curb. Also, Doug touched on the snowmobiles. Keep in mind, no snowmobiles in the park. They're over there at the Barnes property. Please stay out of there, because our ordinances don't allow that. Talked with Kurt Blinks, referenced the Barnes update. Just prior to Christmas, he was finishing up the west barn. It's not quite done yet. He's got a little bit of masonry work to do around the base foundation. And then he's got the header on the front so that he can get the doors rehung, that they'll slide nice. I did have, if you remember, he had a medical procedure done, so I did have the guys go over and blow a path, pretty good width all the way from Jefferson Street to the barns. So that way, here in the next couple of weeks, he wants to start heading back over there and do the work. And as soon as he gets that finished up, he's hoping here in the next month or so, we'll meet together, and then I'll give you an update on where we're sitting for funding, what it costs to do that first barn, and get that first phase of that Hoot and Coyote plan that the Preservation Committee had done. So that way I can report back, so.
Did he come across anything that he felt like was, because I know this was the first barn he did, right? So, and I knew that we kind of all were like in limbo as to what kind of
This was probably the best
one out of
one
it.
that was there. A lot of it was the foundation. The front, where the doors hang, that header was cracked. And then, you know, we talked, and he said a lot of this is just gonna be going, and he said you wouldn't believe how sturdy those will become if you just take the nails and get them pounded back into where they belong and get everything all put back together. So,
That's good to hear.
he's got, you know, you can tell he's very experienced because you go over there and he's got 100 stories, and but he's working at it, and like he said, he's hoping in the next couple of weeks he'll get released to go and do more than what he's doing now, and keep working at that. And I'm going to keep that as long as I can blown out for him to have access to. So, anybody got questions? That's about all I have. Any question for Brendan? Brendan. Christine, have you got anything?
Working on your guys' budget, now the GPS for cemetery.
Council Mayor report, Nick.
Don't have anything to report, just want to thank the city workers for doing so well, get the snow cleared. You as well, I saw you at it, thank you. And welcome to Mike and Rick.
All right, Ricky, got anything? Ben?
Congratulations to Christina and to the city workers for their snow removal. Welcome to Rick and Mike. The Friends of Lisbon Library, Dolly Parton Imagination Library is moving along. We're still collecting donations and signing up kids, so if you know of anybody in our zip code of Lisbon that has a kid 5 or younger, they get a free book a month until they're 5. And you can do that online or contact the Lisbon Library. And the next leadership breakfast will be April 7th, a Thursday at 7:30 in the morning at Cornell. And all council people, anybody, business, whatever, are welcome to come. That's all I have.
Sarah?
Congratulations to Christina, and then congratulations to all the firefighters that are celebrating the year of service this year. Welcome to Mike and Rick, and then kudos goes out to our Public Works Department. Obviously, if we're getting letters saying that they're doing an outstanding job, then I'm not the only one that sees it, so good job out of them. And that's all I got.
I don't really have anything. All I want them to know is the reason there's some snow and salt, or snow and sand, or snow and ice on the road still is, it's gotta hit a certain temperature before that salt's gonna work. So hopefully, next couple, 3 days, I'll start working on it. It's supposed to warm up, so. And a couple people ask why it's anything on it. There is stuff on it, but it is ain't working yet. You gotta deal with that during the summertime, or wintertime. And all the summer. Anybody got anything else?